Growing microgreens is like growing a new garden every 7 to 10 days. And there's such a wide variety of things to grow, you never get bored. Now I've been growing microgreens for almost 10 years now. And I tried a lot of different things in the beginning because I kept messing up. See, the traditional way of growing microgreens, you have to water them 2 or 3 times a day. The tiny sprouts dry out really fast. So I was trying to come up with a self-watering way. Something I could leave for days at a time. And I came up with these little containers. Most of the time they work. Sometimes I still had some problems. And me personally, I always have problems with soil. On top of that, I have to keep replacing it. Then I decided to try the clay pebbles again. Some people call this leca or hydroton. They retain moisture and can be cleaned off and reused over and over again. Now this worked really well for me. I just needed to make it self-watering. Then I remembered hummingbird feeders, or the self-watering bowls for your pets or chickens. And I said, I gotta make me one for my plants. So I decided to figure something out, and we can use glass or plastic. It's up to you. Pretty much everyone has mason jars, and most people out there drink soda pop. So I made these little stands. I'll tell you how you can get your hands on some a little later. But basically these turn a Coke bottle into a set it and forget it microgreen grower. So we'll talk about the mason jar in just a minute. Let's do the Coke bottle first. Now just take a soda pop bottle, fill it up with nutrients. I put a link to my video on what I use and how I mix it. Now just fill a little bit up in a bowl, just about an inch or so would do. And take this thing that I made on a 3D printer. It's got a hole on one side and it threads right onto the soda pop bottle. You just put your thumb over that, then you can turn it upside down and it doesn't leak out. Set it right inside that bowl, kind of straighten it up, or not, and then I get the clay pebbles. And all you want to do is just fill it up with these. Now you can use just straight water here. It depends on how big you want your microgreens to get. So if you don't want to bother with nutrients, just use water. Now just sprinkle some seeds in here. This might take you a couple tries. You don't want to be too skimpy with them. And you also don't want to overplant it because they'll get overcrowded and you'll get all kinds of other problems. And if you don't plant enough, they'll just all flop over. Now I go ahead and spritz these seeds with some water. And now I'm just going to cover up with foil because I can use this several times again. Now you can cover it with plastic wrap or cardboard or whatever you want. Now during germination, if it looks like your seeds are drying out, make sure you spritz them with a little water. And I just set these aside. These are in the light right now because I'm filming, but I usually just have them in the dark. After a couple of days, you'll get some sprouts. From here you can uncover them. Like I said, if they look like they're drying out, go ahead and spritz them with some water until they develop some roots where they can reach down into the water. Now after about 5 days, you can have sprouts that look like this. And you can see one bottle looks like it has a little bit of algae. We'll check that out. We're going to clean it out right here. I'll let this go about 3 more days till there's hardly any nutrients left in there. So this used that entire bottle and I didn't fill it up any. So this was set it and forget it. No watering all through germination. That's it. We'll come back in a minute, show you how we clean this up to start over. Let's go check out the cabbage. Now this one was done in a shallow baking dish and I used a mason jar. This one didn't develop any algae. You can see the roots. You can see in through the bottom of the mason jar. And the cabbage looks awesome. So we grew all of this cabbage here with what was inside this mason jar. Set it and forget it. Now I'm just going to harvest this real quick so we can take a look at it. And there you go. This will make an awesome slaw. You can toss this on your hot dogs or eat it with your fish. Now you can cut the little ones or you can let them grow, get another crop, but I want to clean this up, show you guys what it looks like. So let's go back to the first one. You can see the water's a little murky, not that big of a deal. Let me get my clay pebbles because we're going to reuse those. Dump out the little green water. And you can see the bowl's not that dirty. This comes apart easily. The roots haven't had a whole lot of time to develop. And you can see a little bit of algae that was left on the bottom of the bottle. Alright, this is all we do. I just go through here, put on some music, and separate the clay pebbles from the roots. It's really not that difficult and you don't have to stress about it. At least I don't. Now you can take these and rinse them off a little more, get some more of those little roots and leaves out, clean it up as much as you want. And then I set it out in the sun. It'll dry up the rest of that. This goes in the compost. And we'll clean this up in a minute. Alright, just a little rinsing here. I'm not using soap or scrub brush or anything. I'm just rinsing it out for you. You can see the bottle looks like there's a tiny bit of algae left in there. You can get a bottle brush in there or get a little soap. This cleaned up really good. And the bowl looks fine. So just rinsing it off, it's ready to go. And here's your radish microgreens. This is an awesome snack. Let's clean up the cabbage one with the mason jar. Same thing, we're going to pull the mason jar out of the middle here. Try not to spill everything everywhere. And you can see there's a little bit of algae on there. Nothing too bad. Now this one's got a hole in the bottom, unlike the one on the soda pop bottle. We'll talk about that in a minute. Same thing, just like the radish. We're going to go through here and separate all the clay pebbles from the roots. I'll speed it up so I don't bore you. But this whole process took exactly 4 minutes. And this doesn't look bad at all. So you can see what was left. Alright, this goes in the compost. Now I'm just going to toss this in with the other ones. Same thing, no scrubbing, no soap. I just want to show you I'm just rinsing this out. Nice and clean. We'll rinse this one out too. Now I'm doing this in real time so you can see. I don't want to like fast forward through it and you think that I took it and scrubbed it. You can see I just rinsed it off. I'm rinsing off the top. And there you go. No problem at all. Now this was the first prototype. And the way I did it was I filled up the mason jar and I flipped it over like this. And then half the nutrients ran out into the jar. So at the very beginning, the jar was only half full. And I kind of spilled some in the process. So I figured, like the Coke bottle, why don't we put a top on this? And that's what we did. We just take a regular mason jar and I printed one up and I put a bottom or a top, whatever you want to call it. Now this screws right onto the mason jar, and with these holes in it, you can just dump it up like that. It's not going to come out that fast. It's a lot easier. Now this one I put 4 of them in there because they're smaller holes. I didn't want them to get clogged up. This is the other one I did. There's only one hole. It's like the Coke bottle. You can put your thumb over it, flip it upside down. But really, this one doesn't leak out that much, so what do you think? Should I have 1, 2, 4 holes in it? I kind of like this one. All right, if you guys are interested in this, there's a link in the description. If you have a 3D printer, give me a day or so and I'll have this up on Thingiverse and you can download it for free and print your own. We're having an awesome time with this. This is the easiest I've ever grown microgreens. And from here we can take microgreens. They come out easily. You can put them into other containers. This is just the beginning. We've got a lot more planted. Alright, if you're interested in this, there's a link down in the description. We've got these. Let me explain it real quick so you don't get confused. We've got the bottle top adapters and we've got the ones that fit on the mason jar. There's the standalone where you can order them by themselves. And then there's another thing called a package, and this is what I'm excited about because this is where I want to try and help a lot of people. You can order this if you understand how to do it. You can just order these and just go do it. But I've got a package put together, so if you're like a beginner that this is going to help, you can order, like if you get the one for the mason jar or the bottle top, that's going to come in your package. But I've also got, I'm going to put some hydroton in there so you can get started. I'm going to put it into one of these green bags too. This is a biodegradable bag, and I'm going to pack it in this so that you can take it. You're going to have to rip it open to get the hydroton out. But then you can take a look at this and feel it, see how strong it is, just to help with interest, you know, just so that it raises awareness and you guys can actually get your hands on and feel one of these without having to order like a whole package of them like I did. So I want to put one of those in there. I'm going to pack the hydroton in it. You can take it, maybe bury it in your yard or soak it in water. Just play around with it and see how biodegradable it is. Now another thing I'm going to have in it is just some sample seeds. So you're going to see this in the picture. And each package is not going to be exactly what I have here. Pak choy, lettuce, cabbage, and collards. It's going to be what I have on hand and what I'm actually growing depending on the season, what's available. And it's not going to be any specific size. It's probably going to be about that much, about a tablespoon of each. So you'll get about 4 of them. And that'll give you a good bit. You'll be able to make several different trays of microgreens. So that'll get you started. I just want to talk about this so that you guys understand how to grow your microgreens, because this is the basis for all of the other stuff that we're going to be doing. This is where you can grow microgreens to eat. Then you can take some, you can put them in bigger containers, grow out bigger veggies, and just keep the cycle going over and over again. So I think everyone should be doing this, even if you want to go out and grow a traditional garden. You know, it takes a long time, right? Gardening's hard. And if you're out there growing tomatoes and corn and potatoes and everything, and it's taking months and months, and you're doing all the weeding and tilling and blood, sweat, and tears, and then something happens, some things mess up, and all kinds of things go on, right? But while that's happening and you're waiting for like tomatoes to come in like 3 months, you can be growing something within a week. You could be eating some food, and if you keep this going over and over again, then every day you can be eating some fresh food up until you get those tomatoes and that. So this is a way, instead of putting a whole lot of work in and getting a little bit out of a garden all at once when it comes harvest time, this is learning how to grow your food on a continuous basis. And it all starts with the microgreens. So I want people to understand this. This is our basics. It's just like we said, going to school, being in kindergarten, you know, we're not teaching you calculus. We want you to understand this, because once you do this, and you're able to do it over and over. It's just like going to, when I was a line cook. You know, everything was confusing when you first show up. But then every day you get in there and you start prepping. You get all your stuff ready. You get ready for the day. You go through the day, you cook, and then you prep for the next day or the next shift. And after you've been doing it a while, it's just like, you know, that. It just happens. But at first it's confusing. So that's what we're doing, is all the basics so that you're able to do it like this. Just grow your microgreens. Take them, transfer them to bigger containers, keep the cycle going over and over again. Then all of a sudden, having food all the time is just as easy as can be. This helps everyone. Like I said, if you just want to get, you know, just those by itself, those are there. But if you want to get in on this program, there's a little package on there, and I think that that'll help. You can get this. You get a little bit of hydrogen to start, and you get some seeds. That way you can go ahead and just give it a practice. I know you're going to like it, and once you like it, you can go and buy you a 20-pound bag of hydroton if you want, and you can go and buy your seeds in bulk and start getting in there. But I think that if people don't take that initial jump, sometimes they don't start. So basically that's what this is. It's just for a couple of bucks. You're just going to be able to take that initial start, get excited about it, and then you'll know where to go from there. And then we're here to help you out if you need any help too. All right, you guys get out there. Like I said, link down in the description. All kinds of stuff coming. I know this can help a lot of you out. Wait till you see what we got coming up. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments. As always, live to inspire, keep on growing, and be the change. We'll catch you next time.